Hello and welcome to the L.A.M.P SGM Media program brought to you by SGM Media on YouTube and Facebook. Today we're going to be talking about things that are affecting civilian and civil unions in the diaspora. So don't wait to be told, as SGM Media is bringing you the L.A.M.P. Learn and make progress. Meaning, what we're talking about here today is going to be focused on things that we should learn about and things that we should be looking at as a community in and out of civilian, and also things that we should be able to make progress on. And some of those things are very much important to us because I think over the past couple of decades, civil unions have learned a lot of stuff within their communities and beyond, but they haven't put it into any action that will make them move from where they are to the next level. Well, today is another day and we're going to be talking about International Women's Day, which is going to be celebrated on the 8th of March 2024, which is on Friday. As we celebrate International Women's Day today, the 8th of March, I would like to talk about a few civil union women that have done exemplary well within civilian community, in civilian and out of civilian. To name a few, I would like to start with L.A.M.P Golama, Madam Yoko, Constance Cummins-John, and Ami Kalon. L.A.M.P Golama was one of the first notable civil union women that entered politics and became the first minister in sub-Saharan continent. The reason why L.A.M.P was so prominent within the civilian community is because she also led the contingency team that came to the UK to vouch for the independence of civilian. She later on became a minister and she served diligently well in that capacity. Madam Yoko was also a prominent Mende tribal lead who was the first female paramount chief in civilian to be represented with the gender-based discrimination that has always been in existence in civilian. Madam Yoko was also a prominent woman who was responsible for bringing together all young girls and young women in civilian to be able to bring them up in such a way that they will represent and become not just good housewives, but prominent women in society. Constance Cummins-John was the first mayor for Freetown Civilian, and not just that, she was also the founder of Roosevelt, that is now commonly known as Vine Memorial. And the reason why she founded that secondary school is to encourage young girls who have given birth to young girls and boys that are interested to go back to school and further their education. If we talk about the entertainment industry, Ami Kalon, who came from the southeastern part of civilian, Kenema to be specific, was one of the most prominent female musicians back in the days that was doing her traditional music in her local dialect, which is Mende. She only not just sing for the Mende people, she was also recognized for taking all her experiences in and out of civilian to represent civilian in cultural activities that happens in sub-Saharan continent and also all over the world. To further talk about some of the notable women that we have had in civilian as we are celebrating International Women's Day, I will also want to talk about some of the prominent civilian first lady that we have had over the past decades. To name a few, I will start from Rebecca Stevens, who was the First Lady during the term of office of the late Sheikha Provin Stevens. Anna Momo, who was also the First Lady for the late former President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Joseph Saidu Momo. Patricia Kaba, who became the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone during the term of office of late Mohammed Tijan Kaba. Siayama Koroma, who became the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone with former President Dr. Anes Bai Koroma. And currently, our very First Lady that we have in office is Madam Fatima Bio, who is the First Lady of the current President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Dr. Julius Maada Bio. All these prominent First Ladies in Sierra Leone have done exemplary well to contribute meaningfully to the Sierra Leone society by running organizations that are responsible for dealing with women and girls. As we further highlight some of the prominent women that we've had in Sierra Leone over the past decades, I will also want to focus on a few more others that have done exemplary well and currently serving in various different offices in Sierra Leone. I would like to mention Christiana Top, Lara Taylor Pierce, Honorable Kadisise, Aisha Johansson, and Yvonne Akin Sawyer. Christina Top served in the capacity of the Commissioner General for the National Electoral Commission for 2007 and 2012 election. Also, Lara Taylor Pierce was the former and possibly still currently the Auditor General that is not serving in her capacity as the Auditor General for Audit Department, Sierra Leone. Dr. Kadisise was a former presidential running mate for the 2012 election under the ticket of the Sierra Leone People's Party alongside presidential aspirant, current President Julius Maada Bio. Aisha Johansson served in the capacity of being the first Sierra Leonean female president of the Sierra Leone Football Association, and currently she serves in the capacity of member of executive of the FIFA Confederation. Our current mayor, Yvonne Akin Sawyer, is serving in the capacity of the second female mayor of the Freetown municipality, and she currently serves in that capacity under the ticket of the All People's Congress. That is just a remarkable historical fact of some of the prominent Sierra Leonean women that have served in various different capacities in Sierra Leone. As today marks the International Women's Day, we want to say thank you for all their services and contribution that they have made to Sierra Leone, in and out of Sierra Leone, and they have made Sierra Leoneans proud of representing us to the fullest. As you are watching International Women's Day, these are some of the things we want to highlight about some of the prominent Sierra Leonean women that we have seen. And may the gentle souls of those that I've mentioned rest in peace that have passed away, and may their soul continue to rest in peace. My guest for today's show is a very important young lady who is doing a lot of work within Sierra Leone community in the UK and in Sierra Leone. To be specific, she runs a medical charitable organization in Sierra Leone and also based in the UK, and is none other than Zainab. Welcome to International Women's Day, and I think it's a pleasure to have you with the L.A.M.P, and I want to know exactly why you're here and some of the issues or some of the things that you've been working about around in Sierra Leone and in the UK.
Thank you so much, T-Boy and SGM, for having me. Like you said, I'm Zainab, and I have been working on hepatitis awareness charitable foundation since 2017. And recently I've added on by having a structure in McKinney, which is a hospital. I'm trying to focus on liver health awareness, hopefully a center of excellence for referral for all liver diseases, mainly in Sierra Leone. Could be from anywhere in Africa being referred to us. That's the hope. Here in the UK, I'm working on raising hepatitis awareness, like I said, with colleague midwives, nurses, doctors, and the community. Everybody is welcome, and we've been presenting, teaching, going around, even in nightclubs, everywhere. Yes, we hold events in the clubs, because this is where the young ones come. We try to tackle them on the prevention rather than treatment.
That's very much interesting. You've heard it from Zainab. And hepatitis is also one of the serious sexual transmitted illnesses that we have within our community that we don't take seriously. Tell us a little bit about it.
I think when we talk about hepatitis, we try to talk about more like mother to baby transmission, risk of getting contracted through blood transfusion from infected blood, and we kind of leave the sexual transmission last because of the stigma. As soon as people...
The reason why I don't want you to leave it is because within the past couple of days, I've got a discussion from somebody who works in Sierra Leone, and they are highlighting the high risk of hepatitis in Sierra Leone, and it has gone up high, possibly very close to what HIV and AIDS used to be like a couple of years back in Sierra Leone. So I don't want us to ignore the sexual aspect of it, because it's very important.
We're not ignoring it. We're talking about mainly, like for example in Sierra Leone, we think it was probably through bloods that are not screened. And we worked in Kabbalah in 2017 and trying to promote that, make sure the blood is screened through properly before you transfuse. So that's like point number one. And mother to baby, it could be from, for example, FGM, circumcision, because in those days they circumcised women with non-sterile equipment from one child to the next, from one girl to the next. So if you are infected with that, you have a baby, it could go probably through
So
the childbirth.
that infection affects you even when it's been done when you're a child? Do you still have the hepatitis within your system until you grow old to have a baby yourself?
If you contract hepatitis, say for example, as a child, and you don't fight it off, it becomes chronic. And I think that's what mainly happens in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
They contract it as a child, like I said, in these areas of maybe through an infected mother giving birth, and then the baby contracted during childbirth, or probably through you've been ill and you've had a transfusion in hospital from blood that's not been screened properly. And again, FGM, like I said, or tattoos, or you know the tradition they used to do, like the gum.
Yeah.
Those needles, bunch of needles.
Yeah.
I've seen when I was growing up, girls like in a queue, they use the same bunch of needles from one girl to the next. They share toothbrushes in one family, and some people have bleeding gums. So the infected blood can be transferred to the next person. Obviously, sexual, like you said, it's a sexual transmitted infection, but it's huge stigma on it, and we usually just very cautious when we educate people around that. But that's one of the main reasons of
why do you have, like, why did you take cautions, preventions towards that particular element of it? If
like
we
I
know
said,
for sure
the
it's
stigma,
one of
people just think, oh yeah, because you sleep around with multiple partners,
Okay.
and then that prevent them from seeking help. When we come out to the community to educate them, the young girls come, for example, one of the scenarios, because we like to teach through play, like we do drama.
Okay.
We have young girls come and, you know, just present like you're asking for help. They will come and talk to us, and we say, oh, we've screened you and you're positive. You need to bring your current partner so we can test them. And they will be like, and these are like true case studies. They will say, oh, I wonder who I'll bring, because currently I have like 3 or 4 boyfriends. And you can actually see they are so shy.
Bring them all.
Bring them all. No, we actually do say bring them all. And it's like so funny when we present it in drama. But in real life, they're really sad. Like they're going back thinking, I can't even confront this boy. What would they tell me? What is hepatitis? Some of them never heard the word hepatitis. And you need to break it down.
Right.
And if you just say it through sex, they will not come.
All right, so we're talking about the stigma behind the sexual contracted areas of it, and you're saying normally when you do role play, these are like real examples of what you do in role play. Yeah. So to me, I think it's very important for us to be able to reach out in that particular area, because as far as we know, maybe it might not be contracted through the other areas that you've mentioned, but the sexual transmitted side is possibly one of the major areas that we should be looking at. So what are some of the work that you guys are doing in terms of highlighting the concerns through sexual transmitted?
We educate them on, obviously, if you have sex without protection, that's when you contract it. We need to make sure that it's clear. It's not about just, you know, as soon as you have sex, you're going to contract hepatitis. If you protect yourself, especially with multiple partners, then you should be safe. So that's one of the biggest education we give out there for the young ones. Yes, you can go around, have fun, but make sure you are protected and have regular checkups. We go out there and screen them. We donate the test kits. We're there physically to do the screening, and we provide counseling, pre-counseling and post-counseling.
So what are some of the screening processes? What sort of activities do you do to screen? Do you just do blood tests through needles, or?
We do like a rapid test. Again, that's because of cost, it's affordability. So we take just the one that you would do just on the day, and just a few minutes later the results will come through. If they are positive, we then refer them to have the full blood tests, maybe with the doctors around, or our colleagues in the clinics where we've worked will hand over the cases to them to follow them up.
So the body language with these girls or men that comes through your screening processes that are being diagnosed to be positive, how do they feel and how do they respond to you guys? Do they feel a bit disappointed with themselves, or?
I think if you prepare them before the test, it's usually a lot easier. And the ones that are really disappointed are those that may just turn up on the day and it's a bit rushed. So you get them in, you screen them, you call them back and tell them you're positive. When we go out there, T-Boy, it's like a huge crowd of people, and we don't have time to kind of counsel them one-to-one. It's a big group that will counsel, just talk about hepatitis in general, and then call them in turns. some of them miss the education, the first part of it. They don't pay attention, they make noise, they're not there just for hepatitis, they come for every other thing. Some can just come and say, oh my God, I've been married for 10 years, I don't have a child, I can't get pregnant, the stigma around that, I have co-wives. When we go out there, the kind of cases that come are not just hepatitis related. Right. So it's like we get distracted a little bit. And it's really sad because we can't help them. That's not what we're there for. We can't afford it. But we do try to educate them. So then people who miss the point a little bit on hepatitis, you call them in, you screen them, and you call them back and say they're positive. It's like a shock to them. Okay. Like, oh my God, how did I even get this? And what is this? What do I do now? We educate them that you need to come back in 6 months for us to check you. We lose them in the process.
How? They don't come back at all?
They don't have phone numbers. They can't travel back to the clinic. Some of them are, like I said, the stigma. They don't want to be seen going back to that sexual health clinic.
So is a specific design area in the clinic, in the hospital facilities that is designated just for that purpose?
When I used to go out, it's just like an open lab for everything. Okay. And we will just maybe take a little section of the lab and get our list sorted in our little corner, but we share the lab with everybody else. Now that I have my own structure in McKinney, we're trying to designate an area just for liver health awareness, treatments, prevention.
Okay. That's very interesting. So if you're watching the L.A.M.P, we're talking to Zainab, and she's telling us about some of the activities of the work that she is doing in the UK and in Sierra Leone. But today is International Women's Day. And I think this process of forming the International Women's Day was brought to you by the international body. I don't know where that body came from, but I think they found it very much interesting to be able to find a specific day just to promote gender issues within the world, for women to be recognized for everything that they're doing, and create this environment for women to feel very much comfortable so that they are recognized in their workplaces. They have equal share of opportunities just like men, and to be able to engage and express themselves and their views, not just because they are women, but I think they should be heard. What is your take on International Women's Day, as today is the day that is being designed just to celebrate that?
I don't think we should just identify one day for International Women's Day, because for me it's everyday business, at work, in my charitable Hepatitis Awareness Foundation as well. For example, at work with childcare, with women, they do want to come to these activities, but they have to arrange childcare. Probably the husband is at work, and it's like the responsibility of the woman to make sure you organize the children before you go to anything else secondary. For them, it's secondary, all these activities that we do. When I launched the hepatitis awareness, I used the Marie Curie Hall, the Marie Curie Hall, specifically for what this woman has done, and again around cancer research. People are like, oh, it's so difficult to get there. It's a small place. It's a big crowd. You're taken to this small building. They didn't know what was behind it, because I really admire what the work Marie Curie has done. And it was, for me, I'm working around liver cancer. This woman has done a lot, for research around this field. So that's where I launched it. And since then, it's just, continuation of what women has done, trying to bring women to educate them. The equal opportunity, I don't know really how that will work. It's a difficult issue to touch on.
So do you think women are actually facing challenges within the male-dominant environments, even though they've been given this kind of awareness for women to be having equal opportunities at workplaces?
I think we should bring the men when we're talking about this, not just talking to the women without the men, because we are trying to make sure these equalities between the women and the men. So you can't just bring a group of women and sit and talk to them without their men. So maybe it would work better when we have them all in the same room.
Yeah, but the women also decided to celebrate International Women's Day for women only. Is that not a gender discrimination for them to just have a specific day to say, well, today is an International Women's Day?
I don't think it's for women only, because, for example, with my organization, I have like 90% of them are women, but we are pushing to always bring the men in. I think they're just slow to come in. Maybe they feel like, oh, we are dominated by these women. It's going to be like a noisy room. I'm scared. I don't know, but honestly, I have like more than 200 people on my WhatsApp group. It's like 90% of the women that participate.
Mm. So you mean men don't really get involved in
Not
female
really,
organizations?
not in planning, in attendance you have to push a lot. So we do invite them, just they're very slow to respond.
So do you think there's a gender discrimination in terms of women dominance in certain organizations and they push the men away?
We do not push the men away.
No,
Like I said,
it's just like an...
we try to include them. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because the foundation is already full of women and maybe they're just thinking, my God, I don't know how I will fit in.
Well, why do you think they're kind of holding back to fit in? Is it because of the tension within women being together, or the discussion based on what they are possibly talking about, men dissing them, talking about the negative stuff that men do to them all the time? Is it possibly some of the reason why?
It could be. So like I said at the start, we'll probably need to interview the men as well around this day.
Okay.
We need to include them in some form. Maybe it's because we say when you educate a woman, you educate the world, and I don't know. But we usually focus on women first when it comes to children, when it comes to educating in the home. Women lead, I think, with the children.
Okay, well, Zainab just said it, women lead
within
our society. So what sort of role has women played within our Sierra Leone community when we look at what we have gone through for maybe 60-something years now of independence? What role do you think women have played in Sierra Leone?
For us from here, from the diaspora, we have our different organizations. Like we work really hard here, raise funds, go back home and educate and donate, like I said earlier. My area that I do with the liver health awareness, I go around to schools, we go around to workplaces, we try to include politicians because they are the ones that make the policies. I think. So we want to get involved around. Are you talking about
female politicians? Or
it's a mix. Like I said, we really do want to bring everybody on board. So we go out there. You can't just go in, for example, into any hospital without going through maybe the Ministry of Health first, for example, at least as a courtesy. Say we're here to work, and they can direct you. And when we come, honestly, it's just mainly women, the organization that I've seen go to Sierra Leone, like hepatitis, diabetes, breast cancer, they're all led by women. So the diaspora women from UK in particular have done a lot of work in Sierra Leone.
So what about the women in Sierra Leone themselves?
The women in Sierra Leone, I think, I think our first lady is doing well.
You have to think about it.
No, I have to think, but maybe it's because we don't talk about what we do. We really do need to talk more.
Yeah, but women organizations still exist in Sierra Leone.
We do need to talk more because I give respect to our friend, our Fatima. She's done well.
Yeah. Okay, in what area do you think she has done a lot of work?
Education. I know she's doing the Hands Off Our Girls program, and she's pushing. She's out there. She's everywhere. You need to talk about what you do, regardless.
Okay.
So I have respect for her courage.
Well, I will not say much to that.
It's out of this world. I am telling you.
No, well, I totally agree with you at some point in terms of women in Sierra Leone and some of the work that they're doing, and they're not talking much about it. So why do you think women in Sierra Leone are not saying much about the work that they're doing? Is it based on kind of stereotype, or is just the fact that they don't want to talk about it? Because if you're doing anything good, like you said, in the diaspora, we're saying things that we are doing in Sierra Leone, we're talking about it, we're exposing it, we're making sure that everybody's aware of what we're doing.
We'll probably talk about it because, like, for example, we make time, we go away, and we know that's why we're there for example, for 2 weeks, you're here for this project. So you're on radio, you're on TV, you're talking about it, you're doing mobile clinics, you're going to the villages, you raise awareness. So people do hear about us, people see us. But in Sierra Leone, probably they just take it for granted. This is my country, I just do my thing. And I don't hear about female organizations much. And my time is short. When I go, I focus on my area. So maybe that's another reason. If we have women come from Sierra Leone to here, maybe we'll hear more about what they do because we can just attend their programs and listen to them. But my time in Sierra Leone is usually short. Okay. So I don't know much.
Well, I take that.
Tell me. What do you know?
I think I know a couple of female organizations in Sierra Leone that are doing work, and like you said, most of the work that they're doing is based around female gender issues like cancer. You mentioned hepatitis, and also you have ones that are doing girl-child support network, female gender issues that affect young girls, domestic abuse with women. So there are lots of these organizations. But I think the reason why I'm asking these questions about what women do in Sierra Leone is based on the fact that, not to say we are not seeing the progress of what they are doing, but the progress of their work is sometimes questionable. Because, like you said, you're coming all the way from the diaspora with so many female-run organizations that are helping out in the health sector. And we are still struggling in that sector in Sierra Leone. So basically what I'm saying is, how can women be supported from your own female organizations that you run in the UK to be able to give them the kind of support for them to be able to highlight some of the stuff that they're doing? What do you think would be the measures of women in the diaspora to support women in Sierra Leone? Your
Do you
opinion.
want to ask the question the other way around? Because then it's not because I'm talking to
Well, the reason why I'm asking...
Because they need to encourage us. When we go there, like I said before, our
Okay.
time is really short. They probably are more comfortable there than us. They should welcome us. So maybe flip the question
So are you...
around.
Okay. So what sort of support do you get from women in Sierra Leone when you take your organizations there to support gender issues?
Now I have to think really hard because, like I said earlier, I don't really know which groups of women work in Sierra Leone in promoting women's equality. Not sure. That's the honest truth. You need to let me know. Guide me. Probably I'm not the top of my head.
Well, Zainab,
I may have come across one or two, but because my time is really short there, I don't pay attention.
Okay, because the reason why I'm asking, there is a huge amount of female gender-based organizations in Sierra Leone, and most of them are run by young girls or girls in their mid-30s to late 30s or early 40s. And some of them are women from the diaspora who have possibly returned back home, and they're trying to establish some of the work that they have done from the medical sector to child protection areas in terms of child abuse and domestic abuse with kids. Teenage pregnancy is a lot. And the reason why I'm asking is because you guys run a female organization in the UK, and you go to
You
Sierra
see,
Leone.
now you call it female organization.
Well, the reason I'm saying female organizations, you've just highlighted it earlier on to say majority of the membership is 90% women, and the men don't tend to come on board, which will be my second form of discussion into how do Sierra Leonean men support women organizations in Sierra Leone and in the diaspora.
Yes.
Because the reason why I'm asking that question is because there are huge amounts of female organizations, and there are men that supported them, but you don't get to see these guys. You don't get to see some of the work that they're doing. Mostly is behind the scene, and some of them are on the front line, but just like a handpick of them. So what sort of support do you actually get from Sierra Leonean men towards the organizations that you are running in the UK to support health issues in Sierra Leone?
In general, Sierra Leone here.
Well, in
the
general,
diaspora,
Sierra Leone here, the diaspora, yeah.
like you said, they do work a lot on the background. And the day comes and they're still like behind the cameras, like SGM. I wish you could come to one of the membership like meetings. Just observe and see if you guys want to join in.
Well, we are involved in so many female
On the
organizations.
background, like
Well,
you said.
Not just on the background. We take front lead at some point. But again, the reason why I think SGM Media as an organization, as an entity, does not want to front all these things is to give women the opportunity to be able to express themselves, to say, we are running this. Credit goes to the women who are doing all those organizations like yourself, because you are the front runners. And if we come on board to support you, we just want things to work, and we want things to take the next level. So we bring our own expertise and guidance to what we think we can. And we don't want women to feel intimidated by saying this is the female-run organization like hepatitis that you're running. We give all, and we are thinking if we give all is primarily being put together by women, they should lead. Because we want to see what sort of contributions women are making in Sierra Leone, not just in the health sectors, but other areas of concern. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
I need to remind you that hepatitis awareness is not female-led.
Okay, good.
It's you guys that don't want to come on board and actively get involved.
Again, like I said, there's a dominance.
Extended the application to men a lot. Few came, they didn't stay. Again, maybe it's because of full room of women, like I said earlier, but it's not women-led. I'm here probably because I work with women and children, apart from what I do on the hepatitis awareness. When I go out there, I'm actually on labor ward, not just the lab. So I'm very passionate about women and children, not even just women and men equality, just the care of that vulnerable group. So that's why you see me with lots of women, probably because of my profession, because you can't leave that background behind.
So are you saying my profession is not giving me the chance to work with a lot of men? Because I work with lots of women as well.
I'm not sure. I will not say it's the profession, but I'm just saying that's why I found myself with many women. Because midwifery is like women really dominated profession.
So how do you get men to come on board what you guys are doing? How do you convince them? Because if we have International Women's Day as a day of celebrating women, it means, like you said earlier on, the men should be questioned as well, because they are the ones possibly should come on board and work with women. But how do you lure the men to come on board and work with you? Because your main goal is not just to run a female-led organization, but you also want to get men involved. So what are some of the structures or strategies is we give it all pushing?
We need to invite the men. We need to invite the men. For example, interviews like this, I know it's Women's Day, but we should have a few men around. Yeah, just support us. We have these outreach activities. We invite men. We reach out all the time. We don't send out invitations to just women. So we do invite the men to come take part.
So, okay, let me be blunt. Do you have beautiful women in the organization?
A lot.
Because men sometimes
we have beautiful women.
Men sometimes find it interesting to be part of organizations if there are lots of pretty women, because they might want to come and hang out and just work at the same time. You need to showcase those women, because maybe you're not showcasing them enough.
They've seen them. And when we send out our photos, the women are on the photos. This is the membership, and they're all women. Membership, like you see these beautiful women, come join us,
So as International Women's Day, do you think Sierra Leonean women are recognized as much as other nations are recognizing their women in terms of representation nationally?
In the diaspora? Or in
nationally,
general?
Internationally,
yes. The last International Women's Day I attended was like a church program. To be honest, yeah. So it was quite mixed. Lots of Ghanaians. I was invited by a Nigerian colleague. So I can't pinpoint the Sierra Leoneans that were there. I really cannot remember. I have never been there because of the charitable work that I do. It was like just a big general group of women met in the church.
Now, share your thoughts on prominent Sierra Leonean women that you possibly know and admire.
In Sierra Leone or nationally?
I would say going back 60 years down the line, before independence and after independence, and possibly currently.
Probably currently, because I'm too busy to do the research. I wish I could do a bit more, honestly, but it's because I am focused on mine as well. And I am not doing mine because of, like, for example, copying someone. So it's not like I went out to do the research first to see, let me see what women are doing, because I want to do it too. I'm doing this because my dad passed of liver cancer, and I just don't want to see anybody die from any disease that you can prevent.
Okay.
And hepatitis got 99% vaccine that can, Hep-B, that can prevent it. So my work is not because so many women have done this. But currently I have colleagues that work around female genital mutilation. And there's a link directly between female genital mutilation and contracting Hep-B, especially in Africa. I have someone called, I think, Hawa Cole, I can't remember her surname, but I even spoke with her last week because of what's coming up, the program we have coming up in McKinney. She's got a group of women she wants to send over for surgery. And that's how I found out. I thought she just does female genital mutilation, but she does a lot more than that. She looks for probably surgeons to do fistula repairs.
Okay.
So she asked me, oh, are there going to be fistula repairs when you bring the surgeons next week? I said to her, my surgeons that are coming are doing like from head to abdomen.
Not below.
I'm so sorry, Tima. She was like, okay, I'll call you back. I'll call you back. I don't know whether she has midwifery background or gynae background, but she straight away understood what I meant by that. I said it's just for 3 days, it's short, and they're doing head to toe. They're not doing from head. They're doing head to waist. They're not doing gynae from waist down below. So then I asked her a lot about how she meets these women, and so many women are suffering incontinence from childbirth, poorly repaired vaginal tears from childbirth. So she's there helping these women, and I think that's really, really good job. Okay. I have a lot of respect for Hawa.
Okay, well, guys, for you don't know, fistula is one of the challenging medical concern for young girls in Sierra Leone, and it's been neglected. I know that for sure because I think about 20 years ago in Sierra Leone, I was working on a project to put together a documentary specifically on fistula, and it is ignored.
It is.
And the stigma behind it is quite huge.
It is.
And I think you don't want to be present in a situation when you find young girls struggling with fistula. I think it's very heartrending for you to be in that situation. The documentary didn't go ahead because it was too emotional. And I think the patients were not, to me, I think is a huge amount of neglect, and I think that should be taken up very seriously. Yes. So it's a good thing that you mentioned Hawa, that she is doing it, and I think that's is possibly your role model. I would say that, if I'm correct.
Yeah, well, I need to talk to Hawa a little bit more because I didn't know she's working around all these areas. If she is, that's really good. Okay. And I would love to even work with her, support her, and see how we can work together. Okay.
So what about some of the old? Don't tell me you don't know Sierra Leonean female heroes.
You tell me.
You don't know Sierra Leonean female heroes? Oh my God, I will take Zainab to court if she doesn't mention.
Which one, Freetown or yeah?
Well, Zainab sitting down here, if you don't show me or name me 2 Sierra Leonean female heroes, I'll take you to court.
In Sierra Leone?
In and out of Sierra Leone. Go ahead, think about it.
I've given you one.
No.
That I relate with.
That's Awa.
Oh,
Awa is very current. You said
Awa
current.
Is very current.
Very, very current. So talking about modern day Awa. I'm talking about a passing.
You are the historian. You are the researcher. You give me a name and we'll talk about
International Women's Day. Okay, talk about Madam Yoko.
Oh, you want to take me back to my primary school history?
Yes.
What did Madam Yoko do?
No,
I just remember the Madam Yoko Hotel.
So you only know Madame Yoko Hotel?
I just know about Madame Yoko Hotel. Tell me.
What about, you've made me, you don't make a blog. Okay.
Hey, tell me you know
about L.A.M.P Gulama.
I've heard of L.A.M.P Gulama.
What do you know about
With Zainab Sharif, that's what I know.
What do you know about L.A.M.P Gulama?
A little, very little. That
Good, share.
Zainab, what's her surname? Zainab on AYV. What's her surname?
Zainab Sharif.
Zainab Sharif.
Okay.
Oh God, I'm so bad. I work too hard.
You said earlier on you don't work too hard.
I just focus on my own project. But Sierra Leoneans, they need to welcome us a little bit more. Then we'll know about what's going on around.
Is it the other way around? You should welcome.
When we go around,
when
we go out there and say, oh, we're here, they need to reach out. Because we go out and,
okay, I hear you on that. But don't you think it's the other way around? Because I don't want to say or ask how old you are, but I think you should be able to tell me about few Sierra Leoneans historically that have done a lot of work for Sierra Leone women.
What did
that is making you proud to sit here and talk about what you're doing, because you're going to be one of the Sierra Leoneans that possibly the younger girls in Sierra Leone are going to emulate within the next 10, 15, 20 years to come. And you cannot tell me any Sierra Leone.
Do you want to tell me about Ella? What I did was I followed up on AYV, sister, what is it called?
Big Sister.
Big Sister. You see, I told you I'm too busy working on my project, not working for money.
I think you need to do some history about Sierra Leonean women. I'm talking to you now on camera. Zainab, I'm not going to call you a second name. But Zainab, for
Hepatitis awareness.
we give it all. You need to find out about civil union women that have excelled going back 60 years before and after independence.
Why?
Because
why the before? Because
the before is some of the reason why women are representing in civil union right now.
Probably not for me.
Yes, for you, because I'll give you an example.
Because not because of what Ella did that I'm doing what I'm doing.
Well,
it's not because of Madam Yoko that I'm doing what I'm doing.
Okay, what Ella were the elites of civil union women that actually gain political positions in civil union.
Maybe that's why I don't know about them.
That made women get themselves involved into politics.
Okay.
And there are lots of them. But this is not going to be an historical program about historical civil union women. But because it's International Women's Day, and I think we should be able to talk about some civil union women in the past that have done great job for civil union. And Ella Koblo is one. And
what did she do?
Ella Koblo Gulama was one of the pioneers of independence in civil union, and she was one of the first parliamentarian to represent women in civil union, and she was part of the contingent that came to the UK to seek independence. And on her return, she was the first minister, female minister, possibly in West Africa at some point. And she did a lot within civil union politics that gave civil union women to be involved in active politics. And she was not just a politician, but a learned scholar as well, that gained her education and challenged men in parliament in terms of human rights, female gender issues. So these are the people that have been fighting for civil union women going back before independence and after independence. Madam Yoko was the first female paramount chief in civil union, and that was like a massive taboo. Not just a prominent woman, but also responsible for bringing up girls into womanhood. I know there's a huge myth about the FGM thing and what is good for and what is not good for, but I think the area of Madam Yoko back in the days was to bring together young girls and make them to become good housewives. Not just that, but also to be able to enlighten them of how to look after themselves and how to become a woman. Because at the age of puberty, which might be maybe 12 years back in the days, that is the time a woman's wood for girls will start to grow. That's the time they grow breasts. That's the time men start to look at them differently. So she brought together all that sort of unity for women to be able to develop themselves and become notable women in society. There are a few more others that have worked in so many different areas, in politics, in education, in sports, in many areas. So I think you need to go and find out about that.
Probably in education only would help me, as long as you mention politics.
Well,
just kind of
it's driven from education aspect to politics, because most women in civil union don't just acclaim those status for nothing, because some of them are within society wherein they have to lead. And when you become a prominent leader in society in civil union, the next thing you will do is to get involved in governance and be part of decision making that will make you feel equal to others. So it's not by accident, it's like deliberate. Like what you're doing now as a young woman from the diaspora, if you want to effect change, effect it to the best of your ability, you have to be involved in policy making. And for you to get involved in policy making, you have to get yourself involved in government structures. It might be a small scale ministerial position, members of parliament representation for your local communities. So you are part of the process. So now as we are celebrating International Women's Day, what will be some of your messages to young girls, specifically ones that you think you should possibly talk to in terms of how they should look after themselves as women in society to be able to be meaningful?
Like I said earlier, we do meet lots of young girls out there. They need the education. So they need to understand, first of all, why we're there, and, you know, just to instill that confidence in them. We go there to motivate them, uplift them. So many of them go through issues like, for example, even domestic violence that they cannot talk about. So to attend these clinics, it takes a lot of courage, because probably the husbands or their partners may ask questions. Why are you going there? You know, they've already termed us before that we like break relationship. You come there, you educate the women on their rights, and they label us like,
Okay.
so those sort of things you need to be very careful around what you teach them, but we do need to pass that knowledge on to them. You know, stand up for yourself, get educated, because that's, you know, primary thing really that can make you get out there and do things. You know, so it's not just going around doing injections or doing blood tests. It's about also making sure we teach them and how to access that help. And even from here, people do call us. They call us from Sierra Leone, ask questions. You know, they do have the trust in us. Build that trust that you can talk to us anytime, from anywhere.
So what sort of support network do you have from institutions like, say, for example, the Ministry of Health or the Ministry of Gender, the Ministry of Youth? Because what you're doing is basically focused in those areas: health, gender, and young people.
Yeah. I'd love to work more with that Ministry of Gender that I've never been to. I don't even know where they are based. That's very important now that you mention it. We always start with the Ministry of Health. But most recently, I've been trying to kind of connect with the Ministry of Education, because I think what we do, maybe really the foundation of it should be education. So even though we're going there to promote health awareness, but I think we should focus on education as well. Not much support, I need to be honest with you. And probably because the time, again, is so short. When we go there, 2-3 days we spend in Freetown, is to get every paper sorted, maybe with the Ministry of Health, to know that we're out there just in case of any problem. You know, we need your support. Because this is health. You can go maybe just do a blood test on somebody and they collapse on you. So just for them to know we are on the ground for any support. So Ministry of Health will do get some support from them, checking on us, sending some of their lab technicians with us to go and help when we have like large scale of work. But the other ministries, I probably need to reach out a bit more. That's what I think. Okay.
So do you think overall you're having a huge amount of recognition within the people that you're working with in the community, specifically, say, for example, in McKinney, where you have a structure that deals with health issues?
McKinney, this is going to be the one, well, the second big program that we've done. The first one we did, we had nurses that we recruited and we paid them for the day to help with the testing. It wasn't a lot of money, but at least it was good turnout. They were very interested to come and help. So they were like, as long as you pay for our transportation to and fro, we are fine. And that support is there, but it's not free, because people travel and they leave their shifts, their current shifts, to come and work with us that day. So we obviously do pay a little bit towards that, just incentives. The one that's coming up now, the MS in McKinney is organizing additional staff to the ones coming from the UK. So it looks like it's going to be a good turnout too, because I've had few phone calls from anesthetic nurses offering, you know, that they can come and work for those 3 days. Yeah. So the support is there.
Okay, the support is there physically.
Support is there.
And how do you get financial support? Because I know everything that you're doing costs money.
Financial support right now for the building, everything in McKinney is, I don't like to say it's from my pocket, but it's from my pocket.
So you're self-funding?
Yes.
Do you do activities to raise funds at all in the UK or in Sierra Leone?
No.
So what are some of the areas you're looking at actually raising funds? Because you're not going to dip into your bank account all the time and you get your bank account dry.
That's what I'm doing for now. But, we'll see how it goes.
So we'll see. You get beaucoup money back in the bank.
Money,
because so if I say, for example, now there is going to be an organization in Europe that is going to select few Sierra Leoneans to represent Sierra Leone as role model within society in the world, what do you think, or who would you identify within your small reach of Sierra Leoneans that you know that are doing so much well, women in and out of Sierra Leone?
What was the question? An organization coming to offer their help?
An organization coming from the world to say, today is International Women's Day. We want to recognize few Sierra Leonean women that have done extremely well within your society in and out of Sierra Leone that we want to give an accolade to. Which name will come to mind?
I I don't like to put my name forward. Maybe I'll put the organization, but it's me. I want someone to come look at our liver health unit. That's what I've been crying out for. They need to come and equip our liver. Not give me, not just me, individual. It's the unit.
Well, I'm talking about individuals.
Okay, Zainab.
Specific.
Zainab, CEO, founder of We Give All to combat hepatitis. We need help. In a more serious note, we need someone to collaborate with us.
When you say someone, you're talking about health organizations.
Health organizations all over the world.
So what sort of collaboration are you looking at?
We need someone to come and, we need a liver health unit.
Okay, I'll give you this opportunity to appeal to the world.
Diagnostic center.
Appeal to the world and ask them for exactly what you want as we are celebrating International Women's Day today.
Equipped diagnostic center, especially for liver health unit. Hepatitis is killing our people. It's preventable.
Okay, I want you to talk to the camera and give the world that message.
That is the message I'm giving the world. Sierra Leone, we need a properly equipped diagnostic center, liver health units to start with, because hepatitis is killing our people. As I speak, I have 2 patients right now dying. When you hear ascites, like limbs swollen, stomach swollen, extra fluid, all that excess fluid is like their end stage. So they come to us really late. We need to catch these people at very early stages. Prevention, rather than when they come out crying in their last days. So we need that unit very well equipped with diagnostic machines.
All right, so what will be your final message as we're about to wrap up the International Women's Day discussion? What will be your final message to...
International Women's Day is not just 8th of March. We need to work with each other. I need to go away, look a bit more on to women that are doing well, women that work like me. Let's work together. It's all about collaboration, so we can move forward.
All right, thank you very much for watching. This is SGM Media, and we've just brought to you the L.A.M.P, and the L.A.M.P is a program that is dealing with issues that are affecting civilian and civilians in the diaspora. So the meaning of the L.A.M.P is to learn and make progress. And today we've learned a lot about some of the issues that are affecting civilian women in and out of civilian. And we've got our lovely guest Zainab, who has gone through with us with the process of hepatitis B. We Give All, which is our organization that is based in the UK and doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing in civilian. And that work is being focused on health issues, not just hepatitis, but other health issues that are affecting young girls, women in civilian. So don't forget to join us again for another edition of the L.A.M.P next week, as we will bring you various different discussions. It is a light-hearted program. Everything that we've spoken about today are serious issues, and these are issues that we should learn from, and we should be able to make progress from the outcome of what we are learning. So don't forget to join us next week for another edition of the L.A.M.P, brought to you by SGM Media on all our social platforms. I'm your host, T-Boy. Goodbye and have a pleasant day.